Before I start into this article, I just want to mention first and foremost that Dan Dix of Press for Truth, shout out to Dan Dix, has already covered this particular topic in a video he done in the past. Go ahead and look through his videos to get another opinion and reference source for the kind of information put forward and presented by this kind of stuff. Anyways, the headline in this particular article out of CBC News, British Columbia: Vancouver police now using machine learning to prevent property crime. So they're using computers and algorithms, right? Sub portion of this headline is predictive policing technology uses past trends to determine where break-ins are likely to occur. And in case you haven't noticed, that picture in the background you're seeing on the screen, yeah, that's from Minority Report, remember? I'm sure if you've seen that movie. If not, yeah, it was supposed to be science fiction, right? It was a movie of the week kind of deal. It was a box office hit to a certain degree, but hello, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be biographical. It wasn't supposed to be a documentary, right? But here we are today, where it's like, as we're seeing a lot of times, just like with George Orwell in 1984, a lot of these things, like wait, these movies, these books, these science fiction premises, yeah, they weren't meant to be instruction manuals on how to create the most ridiculous authoritarian police state on the planet. But apparently the control freaks and sociopaths, the ones that want to dominate and manipulate not just the way you think, but how you function in your society, they seem to be like, hey, that sounds good to me. Let's go with it. Let's make that a reality, right? Got to be careful, folks. Anyways, let me get down a little bit and we'll read into this article here. The Vancouver Police Department is implementing a citywide predictive policing system that uses machine learning to prevent break-ins by predicting where they will occur before they happen. The first of its kind in Canada. Oh, don't you feel safe knowing that they have the ability to predict, right? Like I say, this is just apparently the first venture into this predictive policing. And if you're old enough to know how that starts out, right? Even if there's some good baseline premise or something that people might say, oh, well, that could be good. Look at how many ways, without exception actually, that always turns out to be a net negative for the population. When you let the sociopaths and control freaks, the kind of people that want to go into authoritarian positions in government, yeah, if you give them that kind of carte blanche ability and capability, like I said, we all know where that leads. I'll reference you to the Snowden revelations for further clarification on that aspect. The system analyzes historical records of break-ins around the city and generates predictions about where break-ins are likely to occur over 2-hour intervals within either a 100 or 500 meter radius. Huh? Right? Lord forbid that you're out walking around in this area, right? Because, hey, think about it. They're already at that heightened level of suspicion, right? They're already in that mode. Think about it. Oh, we know something's going to happen, or we predict something's going to happen, so they're going to be looking for something to happen. So, like I say, objectivity or just the fact that they really should be responding to actual incidents, like I say, no, they're on heightened alert. Their senses are already looking for a problem, even if one doesn't truly exist. Police Chief Adam Palmer said that after a 6-month pilot project in 2016, the system is now accessible to all officers via their cruisers' onboard computers, covering the entire city. I'm so glad I don't live in that place. Matter of fact, I'm looking more and more every day to just, there's a reason why I have a home way out in the sticks in a rural community in New Brunswick. And if all else fails, yeah, there's all kinds of cabins in the woods, right? If you have the capabilities to sustain yourself, yeah, you can escape a lot of the big brother aspects of this kind of shit. And like I say, I keep redundancy so that, depending on how things go, I'm going to have somewhere that I can retreat to so I don't have to deal with the shit. Not that I'm a criminal, but like I say, who wants to live in that kind of environment? I sure as fuck don't. Instead of officers just patrolling randomly throughout the neighborhood, first of all, why are they patrolling randomly, right? You're supposed to just be responding to crime. But like I say, it's all about revenue generation now, you know. And do they ever actually prevent the crime? No, they can't. Crime has to happen first, right? Although they're trying to twist and distort that whole premise completely, as we're seeing. But, you know, what's that old saying? You know, when a threat is just seconds in front of your face, well, police are still minutes away, right? Unless you got one hiding under your bed, right? And even then, still no guarantees. Think about the kind of police that are going into policing now. Or think about the kind of people that are going into policing now. The bar has been severely lowered to the point where, are these really the people that are going to be able to protect you? I mean, look at how coward they are. Well, I mean, just go through YouTube videos and you'll see the evidence is out there that, yeah, these aren't exactly the most brave, you know, unbiased, independent, critically thinking people on the planet, right? These aren't people that are genuinely strong, morally superior people, right? Or benevolent anyway, because like another thing is, how do they get their paycheck? Through the forced wealth redistribution model, through theft, extortion, however which way you want to call it. I mean, there's lots of ways to describe it, but hello. And they choose to go into a career where that's the premise of their entire occupation, that they do every day that they're gainfully employed. So, you know, once again, Palmer said property crime is fairly common in Vancouver and has predictive patterns. For example, it usually spikes in the summer months when people leave windows open and take vacations. So, how, I mean, right? Yeah, there might be some similarities, but once again, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Oh, let's see how they present that narrative. See how they present that dialogue, right? Look at the kind of sales pitch you're seeing, right? And CBC is always more than willing to give them a platform to put forth, present their kind of narrative, their sales pitch, right? Always. Guarantee it because, oh, that's right too. CBC also gets their funding through that forced wealth redistribution model, through theft or extortion, right? I repeat myself. The system was piloted last summer during one of those expected spikes. Palmer said the project focused on areas south of Broadway where residential break-ins are the most common. Things got off to a slow start as the system familiarized itself with the data and floundered in the fall due to unexpected data corruption. Oh, so they're already telling it's very, seems to be that it's easily corruptible, and we all know, like, data, hello, like, but anyways, like I say, come on, folks, come on. Anyways, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can continue to read on, but what's the point? The whole premise here, or the whole reason why I'm covering this article is, this is just a first step of many, folks. And, it's that death by 1,000 cuts, or that boiling frog effect. Yeah, you might be willing to solve some property crimes. You might be willing to get along for now and think that, hey, this might benefit in some way. But like I say, for every small benefit, and we've seen this so many times throughout history, for every small benefit that may actually come to fruition and may actually be gained, you will see the counterbalance is always a much higher escalation of becoming more and more authoritarian, more of a police state, more of untrusting of each other. It's that race to the bottom. Like I say, that, hey, go back to that whole thing. Give up freedom for security and you end up with neither, right? Come on, people. Let's just get back to actually taking care of ourselves, our neighbors, and our communities so we don't need this kind of bull fucking shit. Because if people are unwilling to do what really should be done, themselves, morally, legally, or having justice for all and taking care of each other, right? Then you're going to continue to see this kind of rise because everyone wants to pawn all the responsibilities and roles of enforcing what each other do, or of enforcing like proper laws or proper ethics or proper morals. As long as you keep pawning that off to central planners or governments or the police or law enforcement, then don't expect things to ever be done in a manner that it should be. Things are much better when you do it in the local level where everybody can be held accountable. Because that's another thing. Government, people in government, the police, and those in law enforcement, you can't hold them to account. They could fuck up. They could kill people, as we're seeing all the time, and they're never held to account. Right? You're removing accountability out of the equation for some false sense of security is what's happening. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.